morning students. Today I am taking the lesson Force and Newton's laws of motion. In the previous class I have explained you about the force FORC, what is the definition of the force and what is the SI unit of force and what is the importance of force and what causes the motion of the objects to move from one place to the another place. So those are all things regarding all these things I explained in my previous class. And in the previous class only I have said that in the force there are mainly two types. One is the balanced forces, and the second one is unbalanced forces. Balanced forces and unbalanced forces. And today in this class I will explain you about the balanced forces and unbalanced forces, what is meant by unbalanced forces and example for this, and what is meant by unbalanced forces and examples for this. Very important, these the types of forces, balanced forces and unbalanced forces. First one, let us study the balanced forces. Balanced forces are the forces those after exerting on an object if the object does not show any kind of displacement. If the object does not show any kind of displacement or any kind of change in position or change in place, so then whatever the applied forces are called as the balanced forces. These are the forces, balanced forces. These are the forces when after applying onto an object, after applying onto an object, if object does not show any kind of displacement, then those applied forces are called as balanced forces. Then those applied forces are called balanced forces. So this is how the balanced forces it can be defined, and the examples for this one is example. Let us take a table, an example of a table and a wooden block kept on this table. Okay, and think students, on this table a wooden block is kept and forces from the left hand side, applied forces are the 10 Newton, and from from the right hand side, applied forces are 10 Newton. So this is what the left hand side and right hand side. Whatever onto this wooden block from the left hand side are forces of 10 Newton applied, and from the right hand side a force of 10 Newton applied. So here in this case, so let us take this force as a F1, and whatever the force applied from the right hand side, let us take that as a F2. And in this case, so whatever the example that I have given, F1 is equal to F2 is equal to 10 Newton. So in this case, the whatever the wooden block, it will not show any displacement. Okay, so then here F1 and F2 are balanced forces. Are the balanced forces. F1 and F2 are the balanced forces, just because F1 is equal to F2 is equal to 10 Newton, and it has not shown any displacement. It has not shown any displacement, and it remains in its own position. So this is all about the explanation regarding the balanced forces. And now let us move on to the second type of the forces, so that is the unbalanced forces. Second type, so that it is unbalanced forces. Unbalanced forces are the forces after applying on a particular object, if the object has shown a displacement on either side or any side, so then the whatever the applied forces are called as the unbalanced forces. These are the forces. These are the forces after applying. These are the forces after applying on an object. After applying on an object, then the object shown small displacement, small displacement, then applied forces are called as unbalanced forces. Then applied forces are called as unbalanced forces. Then whatever the object has shown any displacement or any change in position or any change in shape, so then the whatever the applied forces are called as unbalanced forces. Let us take let us go through the one example. So the same example, a wooden block kept on a table. So this a wooden block, and in this case whatever the force applied from the right hand side, RHS, so that it will be 15 Newton, and whatever the force applied from the left hand side, so that is, let it be the 10 Newton. So here in this case, whatever the example for the unbalanced forces, in this case F1, you observe F1 is not equal to F2. F1 is not equal to F2. So here the condition is whatever the applied forces, the, it may be F1 is greater than F2 or F2 greater than F1. Either this condition may, may be applied. So whatever the F1 is not equal to F2 and whatever the wooden block, it shows the displacement towards the right hand side. Wooden block, it shows the displacement towards right hand side. Just because here F2 is greater than F1 and wooden blocks moves towards, it shows the displacement towards the left hand side, and this whatever the unbalanced forces observable, it is observed. How it is observable? Whatever the unbalanced forces are observable through the displacement of the object. See, think on an object, so unbalanced forces are applied and the object shows the change in position or change in shape and totally a displacement. So by that it is whatever the unbalanced forces are observable. But in case of the balanced forces, even though the forces are applied on an object, so but the forces are not at all observable just because the object does not shows any displacement. It will not give any displacement. It will not show any change in position, change in position or change in shape. So that's what balanced forces are not all observable, but unbalanced forces are observable. How they are observable? By the change in position of the object on which they are applied. So this is all about regarding the balanced forces and the unbalanced forces, and the question will definitely comes on this whatever the concept. So that is the balanced forces and unbalanced forces. So 1 mark question it will comes as write down the types of forces as for 1 mark you should write down as the types of forces are balanced forces and unbalanced forces, and for 2 mark question it is it will be given as to write the differences between the balanced forces and the unbalanced forces. For a 2 mark question it will comes in the exam. For that reason you should, for the to write the differences you should be perfect in the definition and one example for the balanced force and unbalanced forces. So like that if it is written and marks or 2 marks it is possible to get. So this is all about the explanation regarding the balanced forces and the unbalanced forces, and today's homework is one homework question I will give you today. Please write it down. The question is write the differences between balanced forces and unbalanced forces. So like this, and the question will be of 2 marks. Whatever the question I have written on the board, so this would write the differences between balanced forces and unbalanced forces. Question will be of 2 marks question it will come. So like this, our second question, write the types of forces. So the question will be of 1 mark. So what are the types of forces? Balanced forces and unbalanced forces. That much you have written now, so it is possible to get complete 1 mark. So that is write the types of forces, 1 mark, and write the difference between the balanced forces and unbalanced forces, the question will be of 2 marks. Okay, thank you students. You should write down the things in the fair notebook notes, and whatever the homework questions, write it down in the fair notebook only. Okay, and with this I will stop the today's class, and I will continue with the different concept in my tomorrow class. Thank you.